Good evening, friends. Welcome back to Boutus Gaming. This is the new streaming channel in which you can follow us on Twitch and you can subscribe to us on YouTube at Boutus Gaming for both platforms. Now, this video will be a build guide for Bruenor Battlehammer in which we discuss a favoured build of mine, which is the tank or the ultimate tank build. So this is my Bruenor Battlehammer. He is pretty much maxed out, although I don't have any legendary equipment for him yet, but that's fine. Some of the equipment I have, which is all epic, pretty much, some rare, is still very good equipment. Now, if you are a Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance player, you will know that you level up and you receive an attribute point to spend and you receive a feat point to spend, or an attribute where you can, instead of upgrading your stats, you can buy moves and so on and buffs. Now, when it comes to attribute points, you will know that if you explore each campaign map and work hard, you will find an attribute shrine in which, when you collect it, instead of it giving you loot, it will give you attributes. Okay, so you might not know that the maximum attribute you can get is 20. This can be increased with items that give you attribute buffs instead of, say, resistance buffs. So this is why my Bruenor Battlehammer has 24 strength, which is maxed out, plus 4, and 24 constitution, which is maxed out, plus 4. Now, as you are leveling up your Bruenor Battlehammer from level 1, whenever you get attribute points, whenever you level up, or if you find them through the attribute shrine, my advice is to get the perfect Bruenor Battlehammer tank build. Only put points into strength and constitution, ideally constitution first, at a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every 3 levels you'd put 2 into constitution and 1 into strength. Once these have been maxed out, I would then go to charisma. This being the fact that in this game, charisma is an attribute that, quote, charisma increases the charge rate of a character's ultimate and increases its proximity radius, end quote. Now, with a tank, the reason why I would go with constitution first over strength is because Bruenor Battlehammer in this build, the ultimate tank build, favours defense, life, stamina over doing max super hardcore damage attacks. This being because Wolfgar the Barbarian, if played correctly, will always do much more melee damage than anyone else. So let Wolfgar be the character who does super hardcore KO damage, but dies very often and gets knocked out. Now, with this Bruenor Battlehammer build, if done correctly, you will find that when the scores are being totted up at the end, you will find that you will always take the more damage and you will always do the more revives of fallen friends because you will always last longer. This is the core tenet of a tank build, to survive for as long as you can. So those are the attributes so far. Equipment. This is my epic shield. Now it adds constitution and strength. Intelligence too, but the constitution and strength are the important points. I will cover the weapon, though that's not the most important thing in an ultimate tank build. But I do have a very good epic battle axe, in which it does 207 base damage, plus 40 lightning resistance, but most importantly, plus 71 fire damage and 15% armor penetration. As for everything else, you should try to focus for this type of build on increasing maximum hit points and maximum stamina or stamina reduction costs. Resistances are important, but you will find on most of my equipment it is plus hit points, plus stamina regeneration, and the like. Moving across the moves, there are some that are very useful. Rolling Boulder, which is one of the first you will unlock. This is a perfect move, and I'll show you all of this when we get into a game in a moment, after I've gone over the core tenets of the Bruenor Battlehammer tank build. So this move, the Rolling Boulder, is a very good choice for the first move in a combination attack. If you roll in using Rolling Boulder, you knock them to the ground, and then you can proceed to smash and bash and pound and grind the unsuspecting goblin or ogre or whatever it may be. Now, this is where the plus stamina regeneration and reduced stamina cost comes in, because if you can keep up the attack for as long as possible, you can essentially put the enemy in a position where they can't actually fight back unless you run out of stamina. So it's always good to keep that up. This move, the Blocking Crusher, is an excellent move for putting the enemy on their rear end. Again, an enemy that has been put on their back or on their backside is an enemy that, for that duration of time, is not going to pose a threat to you, and it will allow you and your allies to inflict serious damage to them. Again, as a tank, ultimate tank build for Bruenor Battlehammer, you shouldn't be focusing so much on getting the most damage done to the enemy, but more being the one who survives. Acting in a support role as and when you can, because if this build is done correctly, you will find often that when playing on higher difficulties, the enemy will often KO all three of your allies, and it'll be left to you to pick up the pieces. And feats, I mean, there's nothing really to discuss here because you can unlock all of them. But as you're going along through levels 1 to 20, I would advise prioritising the feats that will lower stamina reduction and increase armour and health. So without further ado, we will get into a game now, and I will highlight to you the effectiveness of this build. Okay, so the aforementioned rolling block move, which is that one there, is an excellent first move in a combination attack. It can be used in the middle of a combination by all means, that's no problem. But if done correctly, it can put the goblin or ogre or whatever it is you're fighting on their rear end, which just gives you more time in which to inflict damage to them whilst they can't do anything to you. Now, Wulfgar, the barbarian, does have as an ultimate a whirlwind-esque barbarian Diablo 2 style whirlwind attack. This is a very powerful attack. It is one of his most powerful. However, you will be surprised, maybe, to find out that Bruenor Battlehammer also has a whirlwind attack of his own. However, this is not an ultimate. This is a ability. This is important to distinguish from each other, because abilities refill faster than ultimates. When it comes to reusables and things like potions, my advice is to go with one, the obligatory health refill potion and the stamina potion, but then with the remaining two, my advice is to go with the lowering physical damage taken potion. It's a potion that stops you from taking damage from the enemy when maxed out. It reduces enemy damage by a colossal 50%, which I'm sure you will understand is something that is very beneficial for a tank type build character. And with the final slot being taken up by the refill ability meter potion. So this is his this is his whirlwind attack, which you can see there, leveled not only the goblins, but pretty much sucked half the HP from the ogre itself. So one of the first abilities that Bruenor Battlehammer will have is this anvil attack here, which is an area of attack ability which drops an anvil, which is best used when dropped squarely in the middle of an area. When you do this, it will basically affect every enemy combatant within a wide arc and is one of the more useful to the team out of all of the abilities that Bruenor Battlehammer can use, which is why, even though that this Bruenor Battlehammer is maxed out, I still use it. So you see he got put on his rear end then. That was the second move that I showed you at the beginning, if you remember. Mogthump the Stickler. See, it even has the ability to put named mini-bosses on their backside as well, so it's an excellent choice for an attack. So he was basically destroyed by that whirlwind ability attack. That is how useful it is, and it really is a very useful tactic to use. So you can see my friend over there, my compatriot is down. I'm not sure where the nearest flame is to get warmth, but I'll show you how effective being a true tank is. So you see, I'm reviving him and still staying alive. You could only pull something like that off by being a tank character. It just would have been too much damage sustained during reviving for anyone else. So again with the anvil area of effect attack, put it straight in the middle, and it acts as an excellent area of defense. Area of attack, sorry. I often find myself not really using the ultimate with Bruenor Battlehammer. I very much enjoy the ultimate with Wolfgar. I find using his ultimate whirlwind attack to be intensely fun and rewarding in a gameplay essence. So that's another move that I probably should have gone over in the home base, which is a move that, although I can't recall its name, is a late move to be unlocked by Bruenor Battlehammer, which is easy enough to use. I mean, you just hold down the right trigger, and it is a ranged attack move that not only knocks the enemy down, but can reach multiple people, so it can inflict damage on multiple targets. It can, however, as a point of contention, it can disrupt your combination attacks because of the ease in which the move can be used. It kind of gets its way into the middle of combination attacks, which I will admit, even though the move is powerful and useful, can be very annoying, because if you're halfway through a devastating combination attack and you suddenly start to do that attack, it can be disappointing. See, this is what I mean. I didn't want to do that attack, but because of the ease in which you can use it, it forced me into it. The reason why it's not so good for combination attacks is simply because of how long it takes to actually pull off the maneuver. Look at the damage being done to him by that whirlwind attack, and he's dead. It's a very powerful attack, made even more deadly by this particular battle hammer and how effective it is. It is a very good epic class battle hammer. So even as you go on, you might be tempted to give up on the anvil kind of area of effect attack. Because of it being one of the first, you might think that some of the other abilities are better, whereas I found that the only one that is better is the whirlwind attack. That is the only one, in my opinion, for this type of build that you should be changing. So fighting these enemies is where you will often encounter the secondary role for a tank class, super tank class. Bruenor Battlehammer, in that these enemies usually have quite low, relatively speaking, hit points, but they have some quite devastating attacks, especially the mini bosses or the named ones. And that secondary role that I spoke of, if you can remember, is the one who will often be the last one left alive, in which you rush from teammate to teammate, reviving them to avoid a total party wipeout. So as you can see, my friend, he's been KO'd almost immediately. If you run out of hit points, there is a ability open to Bruenor Battlehammer, which is kind of like a last-ditch emergency health regeneration move for not only him but the party as well, which is where you hold down the block, and on the controller anyway, you push buttons A and X. This refills your health and your teammates in the area, but lowers your maximum stamina levels. This can be fixed easily by taking a stamina potion. So now I have my Whirlwinder back. This is the end. Destroyed. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, which is part action, part tutorial. This is, look, this is the first guide I've ever made for a particular build on a character. Boutus Gaming, I am Boutus. We are a new streaming channel in which we stream and record gameplay footage, reviews and guides. This is the first guide I've done, so I hope I came across well. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if you are a player of Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, you enjoyed it and you got something from it. But thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to Boutus Gaming on YouTube and give us a follow at Twitch. We are the same name, Boutus Gaming. You can find us on both. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.